Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week we have 12 incredible watches for you guys and girls to choose from. We have from sort of neo-vintage Rolex to modern Tudor to some English brands with Fitz and Schofield and everything in between, including some fun affordable pieces as well. As always, this is what I like to try and achieve every single week here at Kibble Watches. So if you're not already, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, follow us over on Instagram at Kibble Watches, and keep an eye on the website. Every Saturday, 9:30 a.m, new watches go live. And if you haven't had a chance, scroll through the website. There's about 6 or 7 plus pages of watches on there, over 100 watches pretty much at any given time on the website, so there will be something you'll probably like. Now, as always, I want to say if you want to skip all of the rambling, you can do so via the description of this video. You'll see a timestamp for every single watch shown here today. Not only that, you'll see a link to the website where you can see all the details, photos, and just confirm everything. You know, obviously I'm doing these videos just with the watch in my hand, discussing certain things. I may forget to mention there's an extra strap with certain watches, or you can see from the box photo that there's some extra bits and bobs as well. So always be sure to check the listing as well. So with all that said and done, what is on wrist? I'm actually wearing one of my wife's watches. I can't remember what I was wearing last video. I don't think it was this, but this is my wife's Wittnauer from the 1950s with the Valjoux 72. Really beautiful watch, and one I try and steal whenever I can from her. And obviously, having a child, my wife doesn't get to wear these more fragile vintage watches as often as she'd like, so I get to steal them when I come to the office. But yeah, really great watch, obviously not for sale, and a beautiful example. I'm always looking for stuff like this, but this one, as I say, is staying in the personal collection for as long as we possibly can. Obviously things change, sometimes we end up acquiring something else that we both want, but hopefully this is one that will stay for the long term. So there you have it. We're going to start this week off with a gorgeous Rolex, and this is a Bluesey from 2004, and this is what I would call a collector's set. It comes with all sorts, including receipts. Make sure you see that box shot on the website for more details, but let's take a closer look at this. So starting off this week's episode with a gorgeous Rolex Submariner date, and this is a slightly later model of the reference 16613. What I mean by that is it has the solid end links, and it has the gold through clasp, as they call it, where the gold actually goes all the way through, whereas on the two-tone black dial, you can see this is an older model and you haven't got gold through. Doesn't really make a huge difference, but again, aesthetically for some people this makes a big difference, and obviously solid end links, again, for some people makes a world of difference, and I completely understand how it does for some people. Now, the highlight of this watch right here is that dial. Now, it's nicknamed the Bluesey because of the fact you have a blue bezel, blue dial, a very iconic look, I think, for Rolex. Most people will recognize this immediately. But the great thing about this one is the dial has started to go slightly purple. So in certain lights, it's very hard to capture and very hard to see. But in person, in some of the lights, the dial is ever so slightly going purple, which is really, really amazing and great to see. And again, something you see every now and again on these models, not too regularly, but every now and again I've seen it happen. So this is one, if you are interested, it might be worth coming to view it in person so you can get eyes on with that dial yourself. And again, it's one of those things you're either going to absolutely fall in love with it, like I did, or again, you're going to maybe gravitate more towards the black or whatever else. We've got a lot of Rolexes in at the moment, so don't hesitate to book an appointment anyway. Solid gold screw down crown, gold through the links and all the way around. This is a full bracelet. It is in worn and used condition, but still really strong lugs and really strong case and bracelet overall, so we can always have it polished for you if you so desire. Personally, I would leave it as is. I'd enjoy it as is, and I would bother with a polish much down the road, if ever, to be honest. I think it actually works a lot better when the gold has been scratched a bit, sort of tones it down ever so slightly. Inside automatic Rolex caliber 3135, and this one's from September 2004, and I would call this a collector's set. So if you head over to the website, you'll see the box shot and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Everything it comes with, it's incredible. So let's show this one on wrist and tour dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This is a big look with the bright blue, almost purple dial, as I say, and the gold. It works, it looks good, and it's definitely a look. So this is 40mm by 47mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. As I say, solid end links, so you will need a strap changing tool if you wish to change this out. But to be honest, the design works best, in my opinion, on the bracelet it comes on. So go check out this awesome watch on the website today. Now, from a 2004 Bluesey over to a 1991 Submariner with the black dial, black bezel and tritium, a really cool looking piece. Again, I believe this one does have box and paperwork as well. So another great set to pick up. Let's take a closer look at this now one. On to the Rolex Submariner dates, slightly earlier reference of the 16613. So this has hollow end links, as you can see, with the drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy, and it doesn't have the gold through clasp. As you can see. So the slightly earlier compared to the blue one we just looked at, and this one's actually from December 1991 with its box and paperwork. So a great potential birth year for someone out there looking for that kind of thing. As I always say, don't sort of focus too much on the year. If the right watch for you comes out and it happens to be the right year, think yourself lucky, but as I always say, focus on the watch first and the sort of year second. Inside an automatic Rolex caliber 3135, the case and the bracelet is worn. There are scratches. We can have it fully polished for you if you so desire, but to be honest, as I said with the Bluesey, I would leave it as is. I actually think the scratches work well with the gold, but that's just me personally. We can always have it done for you. There is an ever so slight hairline scratch on the crystal, which is quite difficult to capture. You can probably see it in some of the photos, and under the points of mention on the website you'll see a link to additional photos, and we've highlighted it specifically there so you can see it. Something to be said is because of the black dial, it's not very visible, and then in certain lights, if you really catch the light, like right there, you can see it. It looks like a bit of a smudge as opposed to a scratch, but it is a scratch on the crystal. Obviously, in the name of transparency, we always let you know, and we can have that replaced if you so wish at an additional cost as well. And again, all these sort of things are always priced in when we price our watches. So it's not like we're trying to ask the same as someone else and just leaving all these things unmarked or not mentioned. We always mention everything in great detail, and it's always on the website as well, so you can shop with confidence. Solid gold screw down crown, plain case back again as you'd expect, and nice gold through the links. As I say, December 1991, a nice early piece. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Again, a really nice look with the two-tone and the gold. I'd love to know down in the comments, what's your preference between the blue and the black? Obviously, we've got both in this week, so it's nice for you to be able to decide that way. But what is your personal preference? Mine, as interesting as that blue, almost purple dial is, I do think the black suits me a bit better with the gold. Personally, so I'd be choosing this one. 40mm by 47mm lug to lug, 13mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. As I mentioned, drilled lug holes so you can change strap nice and easy. But go check this one out on the website today. Now before we switch over to Tudor, let's go over to a really cool Zenith. This is a Zenith El Primero, new vintage 1969, black limited edition with a exhibition dial. It's a skeleton dial, but they don't quite call it that because you can't see all the way through. But you can see the mechanism through a sapphire dial. Really incredible, something quite unique and not something you see every day. So let's take a closer look. Now onto a Zenith, and not just any Zenith, as you can quite clearly see within a second. This is a really cool Zenith El Primero called the new vintage 1969 limited edition, and as you can see from that dial, it is a sapphire dial revealing parts of the mechanism below. So it's not quite called a skeleton because a skeleton you're supposed to be able to see all the way through straight to the back. This one you can't, so it is a sort of partially visible, whatever you want to call the kind of dial it is, but a very cool dial nonetheless with a striking red on there. Obviously, as you can see, black case, proud and stated all on there, and as we flip it over, you're presented with a nicely decorated case back, all stating the limited edition number out of 250 as well. A very cool piece indeed, and not something you see every day, and that's what I really like about what we get in at times, is we get stuff that I personally had never even really knew existed, and a lot of our customers had never even seen before either. This is actually a titanium case with the black coating, and you have your original strap and original signed buckle. It does come with its original box, no official paperwork unfortunately, and the watch is from circa 2017, so a little bit later. I won't bore you with the reference, it's an incredibly long reference, you can go see that on the website. But inside, beating away right there with the black rotor. Again, really cool, and well done to Zenith for paying attention to these little details. That's an automatic Zenith El Primero caliber 469, a movement they have used across the board in many watches, and rightfully so. It's beautifully done. Let's show on wrist and taut dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist. If you're into all black watches, this is definitely one to consider. And as I say, one you probably won't see again, especially with ourselves, unless we get this one back in a year or 2 or 3 when the customer wants to chop and change. We get a few people doing that, which is always nice because we get to see the same cool watches every now and again. So this is 39.5mm by 49.5mm lug to lug, 14mm thick. Do keep in mind a lot of that thickness is in that heavily domed crystal, which is sitting right on that case, really beautifully done. And 20mm on the lug, so endless options, but this hybrid strap almost that Zenith do, I think suits it perfectly. So go check this one out on the website today. Now let's switch gears over to Tudor. We're going to start with the Tudor Black Bay 58 Boutique Bronze Edition. You could only get this from the original, the official boutiques. A very cool watch, especially if you're into bronze. You know, we'll discuss more about bronze in the next clip. So let's take a closer look. 2 bronze watches in this week's drop, and what you're looking at right here is the Tudor Black Bay 58 Boutique Bronze Edition. The specific reference is 79012M, and this one's from June 2021 with its box and paperwork. Still has a sticker on the case back, and to be honest, I don't think it's really been worn. It's been kept in the box and therefore has patinaed throughout, as you can see, and it always had this very nice grainy, or what I would call grainy, finish to these models straight from retail. I kind of like how it looks, and again I think it really works with the bronze coloration, and you have that beautiful brown dial, brown bezel, 369 Explorer dial. It's just very nicely done. I think Tudor did a great job of it. Bronze crown as well, and obviously the thing to be said is the case back is not bronze, so that direct part on your skin won't be bronze. However, the rest of the bracelet obviously will be. The really great thing about this model when it first came out was the upgraded clasp, which we have seen on a few models now. As we lift it open, and like such is sort of a standard Tudor clasp, but underneath there, if we can get it in focus, that is a pull and slide adjust right there, T-fit clasp they call it, so you can actually do on the fly adjustment as you go, and off you go. A very well designed clasp, and something that I hope they incorporate across the board as standard going forward. I know a lot of people are calling for that. Inside the automatic Tudor caliber MT500, and let's show this one on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. If you've ever tried on a 58, you will know how well these wear. This wears exactly the same as the standard 58, a bit heavier because of the bronze. There's definitely a weight difference I find between this and the steel, and obviously colour difference and just overall feel is quite different. So this is 39mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick, and 20mm on the lugs. It does also come with its original Tudor NATO strap in the box if you want to swap out the bracelet. Looks great on both, so the option is there, but go check it out on the website today. From a boutique only Tudor to a Harrods only Tudor, this is the Tudor Black Bay Harrods edition. You'll probably all be very familiar with this watch, with the green bezel, the green text, and the green tip on the second hand. It's a really great design, really great look, and a watch they've made for quite a few years now. Every single year it's speculated they're going to discontinue it. I have no idea. No one has any idea really. I think it's probably becoming more and more likely as each year goes past that they will discontinue it, because again it's been running for quite a while, but maybe they won't. But either way, we've got one here, so let's take a closer look. Now for the Tudor Harrods, dare I say one of the best releases I think Tudor have done in collaboration so far. In my opinion, this has definitely been one of the best, definitely most successful for them. They have produced a fair few of these. We'll never know exactly how many, but they have definitely produced a fair few. So the thing that makes this one the Harrods is it is only available at Harrods, which is a retail store here in the UK, a luxury retail store here in London, and the reference is 79230G, and you have the Harrods green bezel, the Harrods green on the second hand, and in the text on the dial as well. All beautifully done with that black dial and the gilt, which is the gold coloration in the hands and the logo and the text and the indices, which really pops and works with the green. Green and gold always go well together. Nice signed screw down crown, really nice case profile. This is the larger 41mm rather than the Black Bay 58 39mm, so do keep that in mind if you're after the smaller case. Who knows, maybe they'll do it in the future, but as it stands right now, this is the only one you can get with the green. As we flip it over, you're presented with the classic Tudor clasp with the micro adjust and a nice Harrods sign case back with a number written right there. We don't actually know for definite if that is the production numbers, but I would probably say it is. That's a pretty safe thing to assume. Inside, automatic Tudor caliber MT5602, and this one's from November 2022 with its box and paperwork. So let's show on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, noticeably bigger than the Black Bay 58, but again, still very comfortable. I find these. Yes, they're thicker, so you know if you've got a tight cuff, it's probably not going to fit over it. But to be honest, this probably isn't the watch you're wearing with a tight-fitting suit. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think it is though. 41mm by 50mm lug to lug, 14.5mm thick, and 22mm at the lugs. So go check out this one on the website today. Now let's switch gears from the Swiss over to the British, and we're going to take a look at a very early, this is a Mark 1 dial Fears Brunswick 38 polar white dial with a custom Fears strap as well. A really, really cool watch, and again, to have one this early is incredible. So let's take a closer look. Now on to a Fears Brunswick white, the polar white 38mm, but not just any Fears Brunswick white. This is a Mark 1 dial, a incredibly early reference, dating back to November 2018, this one with its box and paperwork. So Mark 1 dial, it has a flat dial, Brunswick stated on the dial underneath Fears, and the sub-seconds is also flat, whereas on the Mark 2 you have a slightly recessed sunken sub-dial where the sort of lacquer seeps into it, which is really nicely done. But this is an early one, again very nice to see, nice blued hands as well. As you can see, catching the light beautifully there. Reference BS23800, and as we flip it over, presented with a manually wound ETA 7001 with the gold pipette exhibition case back, and it's paired on a custom Fears ostrich strap, as you can see, with the Fears custom buckle and a really striking red underside, very nicely done. As I say, November 2018 with its box and paperwork, and it's great to see an early Fears through my hands. I've had quite a few over the years, but again, I haven't had a very early Brunswick white in a little while, so I'm very excited to get this in, as it is arguably the classic modern Fears, the one that sort of set the ball rolling with where Fears is today. Obviously, they started out with the quartz, with the Red Cliff and a couple of other models, but this is what really took them off into the next level and has continued to sort of show where Fears is, and they still actually produce it. Granted, different dial, you can see the differences on their website. No more Brunswick, England stated, slightly different layout with the sunken sub-seconds as well, but this is a classic. So let's show on wrist and taut dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist, very comfortable with that 38mm cushion case. You just cannot go wrong in my opinion. So 38mm by 42mm lug to lug, just under 12mm thick, and 20mm on the lug. So endless options for this one. Go check it out on the website today. From there over to again another early one. This is a Schofield. This is a Beta Bronze Batch 1 with the blue dial and the automatic. A really, really cool watch. Again, if you're into the bigger design, the bigger look, Schofield are very true to their own design. They don't really bend it for anyone, which I kind of like. So let's take a closer look. Now on to another early English watch. This is the Schofield Beta. Again, a classic from Schofield and definitely what they're known for. This is the Beta Bronze Batch 1 with the blue dial, which is really nicely done. You can see how that sinks into where the hands are, and again the hands elegantly done right down there at the bottom with the Beta logo as well. All nicely done. Bronze case, so it has got bronze patina with the green. We have left it as is. We have a couple of comments every now and again in regards to the bronze watches and why we leave them like this. The simple reason is it can be cleaned up to look really bright and gold again, and that's something we can have done for you with a bit of extra time if you so wish. But to be honest, a lot of people, they want their bronze to look like this, surprisingly to some, but also not everyone realizes bronze does this. And what I don't want is a situation where someone buys a bronze watch offers and then, you know, 6 months, a year down the road, they go, what on earth has happened to my watch? So this way we preempt that by saying this is what it will and can look like. Which isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Bronze doesn't have to be for everyone. So inside is an automatic new old stock Synchron ETA, and this one's from May 2015 with its box and paperwork. as you'll see via the website, a very nice example. And again, it's great to have one in. It is paired on a new strap with the steel buckle. Again, the strap suits the watch perfectly, and Schofield offer a huge range of straps, so don't hesitate to have a look on there, because with the slightly larger size at 24mm and the larger buckle size as well, by the way, they do a huge array of buckles that you can choose from, different colors and all kinds of craziness. There are plenty of options, but let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist. There is no escaping the fact that this is a big watch, and it wears large and it looks large on the wrist, but that's the point. That's why people like Schofield, because of this design, this very masculine, larger than life kind of design, I guess you could call it. 44.5mm by 52mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 24mm on the lugs. As this is a new strap, it will need wearing in a little bit before it becomes super comfortable, but obviously once you've worn it in, you'll be set to go with this strap. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to Grand Seiko, a really cool watch. One, again, a lot of you will be familiar with if you're familiar with Grand Seiko. This is the spring drive Skyflake, one of my favorites. I've always been a fan of this case. The Elegance GMT is actually one of my favorite Grand Seikos, and this is definitely up there as well. So let's take a closer look. Now on to the Grand Seiko Skyflake, and this is a spring drive. I'm always happy when I get a Grand Seiko in, but even more so when I get a really beautiful and cool one like this. We've had these a couple of times over the years. I always try and have a couple of Grand Seikos in stock, and if I can, the classics like the spring drive Skyflake and the Snowflake and so on and so on, but it's getting harder and harder to find them in good condition and at good prices as well, where I can price them fairly in the market as well, just like this one. So this is the reference SBGA 407, nicknamed the Skyflake. You've got that really beautiful baby blue dial, which is just such a gorgeous tone. It's very hard to capture, very hard to describe. It's the kind of thing I'd highly recommend coming to view if you get the opportunity, because it's one of those dials you just fall in love with once you see it. Really nice vibrant blue second hand, and you have a power reserve down there, which as we wind you can see it increasing. A very useful function to actually have, as well as a date at 3 o'clock. As we show the flanks of the case, you've got these really nice polished sides, which lead to an exhibition case back showcasing the automatic spring drive movement, a sort of masterpiece. I'm not even going to begin to try and explain how it works. There's plenty of great videos out there explaining how a spring drive works, so do check them out. But this is the caliber 9R65, and this model's from June 2019 with its box and paperwork. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, original strap and buckle as well, forgot to say, but really, really lovely and great proportions. I've always found these incredibly comfortable. So 40mm by 48mm lug to lug, 13mm thick and 19mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy. So go check out this one on the website today. Now on to a limited edition Sinn. This is the 104 STSA-ABE Blue Automatic, a long name, but it has the blue, the faux patina, the awesome strap, and it actually comes with additional straps and additional buckles and deployants. It's got a lot of stuff, this one, so let's take a closer look. Now on to Sinn, and this isn't just any standard Sinn 104. This is a limited edition blue dial, a really great looking piece that has faux patina on the inside, which really pops and works with the overall design. Day date over at 3 o'clock. The iconic syringe hands that you become accustomed to with Sinn, and a very nice case profile as well, which we'll talk more about once we show it on wrist. As we flip it over, you're presented with an exhibition caseback, proudly showing a gold Sinn rotor, and that's a Sellita SW220-1, a very reliable movement used by many brands, but especially Sinn across the board. This one's from February 2020, and it does come with its box and paperwork. It comes with an additional unworn strap and a couple of other straps, as well as buckles and deployant clasps, all by Sinn. So really go check out that box shot for more details. Very, very nice canvas strap. I'm actually a big fan of this strap, and I know a couple of customers who have bought this strap separately for other watches. It's currently paired on a pin buckle, which I personally prefer. But again, you do have the Sinn deployant if you so wish to change out onto that one. So This has a huge amount of value attached to it, especially when you consider the actual price of a 104 as standard. This way you can get into a limited edition blue dial that you just do not see often at all for a fraction more, and you get the extra straps as well. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, really nicely proportioned, and that colour combination with the strap and the blue and the faux patina just works so well. This is 40mm by 47mm lug to lug, 12mm thick and 20mm on the lugs, so go check this one out on the website today. Now onto a Seiko, but just not any old Seiko. This is a Presage GMT, nicknamed the Sharp Edged, and it's a brown dial, really attractive. It has like a pyramid pattern throughout, very attractive piece, and again an early GMT from Seiko, not Grand Seiko and not the new Seiko GMTs that are part of the Seiko Sports line or whatever it's called. This is an earlier piece from 2021, so let's take a closer look at this. Next up is a very cool Seiko Presage GMT, nicknamed the Sharp Edged Edition, and this is the brown dial SPB 225, and as we take a closer look you can really see what I'm saying about that dial, which is it's a gorgeous brown tone, but it has this pyramid pattern which really plays with the light and lends itself just to be enamored with, really. GMT is nicely stated as well in a gold tone hand, as you can see pointing down here. You have a date over there on the sub dial, and you also have a power reserve over there as well. So nice functionality all paired in with this GMT, definitely something you could actually use as a traveling watch. As we flip it over, you're presented with an exhibition case back showcasing the automatic Seiko Caliber 6R64, a GMT movement you actually don't see used often, which is again kind of nice to see in this model. This one's from July 2021 with its box and paperwork and its spare links. And talking about links, this bracelet is one of the better Seiko bracelets I've seen, dare I say, bordering in line, apart from the clasp, with Grand Seiko. I actually think the finishing and the overall fit and feel of this bracelet is definitely on par. The clasp has 2 micro adjusts, so you have a little bit of adjustment on there, but a really gorgeous watch and a really cool watch as well. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go, paired on my 7-inch wrist, a very cool piece, definitely on the larger side, but it wears very well. What you're looking at is 42mm by 49mm, lug to lug, 14mm thick and 20mm on the lugs, so endless options for swapping this one out onto like a nice brown suede or something like that. You guys know me, that's what I'd put it on, but this bracelet is very comfortable and definitely works with the overall design, so go check it out on the website today. And we've got 2 quartz watches to finish. This is a great Unimatic, this is the U3-F limited edition classic black, the kind of one, if you're looking for this model, the U3, this is probably the most quintessential you can get. So let's take a closer look. Now onto the Unimatic, and this is the U3-F, limited to 600 pieces total. A very cool Unimatic, and definitely envisions everything Unimatic is about, with the simple design yet bold and big, which this really works with. As you can see, a very cool piece. You have the black rotating bezel, screw down crown and screw down pusher, so you have to unscrew the pusher to then use the pusher as such, and it's sort of standard functionality at that point. Start stop with the top and reset with the bottom. You have to make sure you get that grip to unscrew and then push down as such. You have a totalizer over there at 9 o'clock of 60 minutes and a 24-hour dial over here at 3 o'clock. No running seconds on this. You could leave the chrono running if you wish, but just be warned, it will eat down the battery a bit quicker, especially as this is a Mecha Quartz by Seiko, the VK64. So as you saw when I started the chrono, it had that nice sweeping seconds and the nice snapback of the resets, which again, very nicely done. As always with Unimatic, a interesting case back with the limited edition number proudly stated on there, and this is paired on a quick release Hirsch carbon fiber style strap, which really suits the watch and suits the design. It does come with its Unimatic NATO strap in the box, and this one's circa 2019 with its box and papers as well. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. It's definitely a look, and I think it really works with this strap, but as I say, the original NATO's in there for you to swap out if you so desire. But this is 41.5mm by 51mm lug to lug, 14mm on thickness and 22mm on the lugs, so endless options for switching and swapping, but go check it out on the website today. And last but by no means least, something really fun with this Yema. This is a gold plated LED. This is a modern watch actually from 2022. It's got everything with it, and again, the price point is perfect just to pick up as a bit of fun or a great gift for a watch friend or family member or partner or anyone out there who you know is into watches. This is the kind of thing that'll put a smile on their face and can't really go wrong with it. It's not like trying to buy someone a Rolex. You got to know which one they want ideally. Something like this is a bit of fun, so I think they're going to enjoy it. Let's take a closer look. Something very retro with this very cool Yema LED digital display. As we press this button, you can see the time appear and then disappear, and you have a function button over here as well. Really cool, gold plated, very retro in its design, based on an early Yema in their heritage and archives that they based this one on. I won't bore you with the reference, it's a very unnecessarily long reference, but you can go see that on the website. Inside is a quartz LED movement. It has still got a sticker on the back. All those scratches and marks are on the sticker, so you're all good to go if you peel that off. And it does come on its original Yema signed bracelet, which is really easy to adjust. You lift up the lever over here and you slide this up and down to your desired fit, and then clip it together as you go. It's even got a slight curve here to help with wearability on the wrist and make it very comfortable. And this one's from March 2022 with its box and paperwork. Not a huge amount to say about this one other than if you're looking for something fun. And as I said in the intro, this would make a really great gift for a watch guy or girl out there who is into their watches, but you don't want to take the risk of something big and crazy. Because again, if you don't get the right one, it can go wrong sometimes. Whereas with collectors, something like this is just a lot of fun that they will wear from time to time. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, on my 7-inch wrist. It's definitely a look, it's definitely of its era, and I am all for it. As a lot of you know, I'm into this kind of wacky design, and I think it really works. So this is 37.5mm by 42.5mm lug to lug, 10.5mm thick, and 20mm on the lug. So if this is too much gold and too bright, you could swap it out for a nice leather strap and it would look just as great. So go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's drop, 12 incredible pieces. And again, next week is looking amazing, as is the week after. Yes, that's how far ahead we are. We have a huge amount of watches in at the moment and more coming as we speak. So I'm very grateful. I'm going to not increase from 12. I think 12 is already at the brink of the maximum. But again, to get through the amount of watches we've got coming in, I have had to increase it from 10 to 12 again. So I do apologize if you find it's too much to see 12 watches in one drop. But at the end of the day, we don't stagger them throughout the days. You know, we do one drop a week, and it's like the grand finale of the week. So I know a lot of you really enjoy it, and again, more watches is always a better thing anyway. So go check them out over on the website, kibblewatches.co.uk. If you have a watch you'd like to sell, get in contact. All the details are on our website. You will find everything there you could possibly need, and if it's not there, send us an email and we'll help you where we can. But thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all again next week. Take care.